Hello and welcome back to my channel, Designs by Dana. I am Dana and I'm also a Close to My Heart consultant. Today I'm working on sketch 12 from Christie's Beautiful Life 30-day challenge, and this is series 10 out of that challenge. This sketch is not signed by an author, but it does have a KR22 down here at the bottom, so I'm assuming that's the initials of the author, so that's as much credit as I'm able to provide for the author of this sketch. Now let me bring in the photo that I intend to use for this sketch, and you can see that my photo is in a portrait orientation, so I can already tell that I plan to turn the sketch this way and work with it in that orientation. So let me clear this off. I'm going to go pick out some papers and perhaps some embellishments to go with that and come back and we will get started. Okay, I am back and I have my base page put down here on my Versamat, which I like to use because it helps me line everything up here. Here is the photo I'm using again, and it's got these great blues and oranges. So the paper pack that I've chose to use is the Smarty Pants paper packet, and as of the recording on this today, it is still available. Now I've also gone through my stamps and I've picked out several stamps that I'm going to use today, and I want to show those to you as well. The first one I'm using is from the Buddy series, and it is Joey, and I picked this one out because it really has a resemblance here to my nephew with the glasses and the jeans and the t-shirt. And I think I'm also going to use the football stamp and put it on the t-shirt, and I'll show you how we're going to do that here in a little bit. He's just started to play flag football, so I think that that would be cute. This one I pulled out as well, and it is also from the Buddy series, and this is Ezra. And the reason I pulled it out is I just want to use this Mr. Awesome stamp for part of my title. And then this one is from the Fresh Paint scrapbooking set, and I want to use some of the star and the little circles here, and I may use some of these sentiments as well. I haven't decided yet, but all of these are still currently available. And I also wanted to show you that I plan to incorporate some of the thin cuts. So these are the tags that I'm going to incorporate, and they're called Tags and Tabs. And then this one is called just Thin Cut Tabs, and I plan to just use one of those. But all of this product is still currently available on my website, so I'll try to be sure to go back and list everything out for you in case this is a layout that you'd like to try to create, recreate, or something similar to that. So let me get this out of the way and we'll start pulling in some of our papers and getting everything laid out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of dry fit everything together. And this is a layout that I chose not to use a lot of paper on. The sketch didn't have a lot going on, so I'm hoping I can try to keep this one a little simple. And I say that a lot, and I don't always accomplish that goal. So we'll see how we do here. So I'm going to keep my photo right in the center, even though I've changed the orientation of the photo. And I've got these little pieces here just to kind of accentuate my strip going here on the linear side. And I have some little tags that I cut to bring down here because I'm going to use those tag thin cuts and cut some tags up here at the top. So I've cut some paper that coordinates with this paper packet, and I'm going to use the tags here and cut a couple of, let's see, I got to decide here which ones I want to use. So I think I'll cut two of this one, and I can cut those two at a time. So I'm going to line those up and just hold that in place with my sticky tape. And then I'm going to cut this one with this tab. So I will cut those off camera, and we'll stick those in up at the top. Now I also did ink everything in advance, but I have this little piece that still needs to be inked, and I want to show you how I do that because everybody does it just a little differently. I like to ink my things kind of the old-fashioned way with a sponge, and normally I will use a round sponge, but since I use the charcoal most often, I do have one of our new Ranger tools, and this is the round sponge, and I have this one dedicated just for charcoal because I use it the most with my inking, and I can go around there and I get that nice soft edge instead of a real crisp inked edge, and it's very subtle, but it makes a big difference when you put that down with pattern papers. So I wanted to be sure to show you my technique for inking because I do it on almost every layout, and everybody does do it a little different. So let's get those die cuts created, and then we'll come back and put the rest together. Okay, I have everything glued down, and you can see I've got my tags under here, and I want to make special note of how I added my little twine on each tag. So another consultant taught me that you should never have a naked tag. So I did a different tie on each tag. So this one's just looped through and attached that way. This one I looped it through 3 times and tied it in a knot, and this one I just created a little bow and glued it right there in the center of the tag. So I'm going to trim this down, and I'm going to decide later if I want to leave these as they are or maybe separate those threads a little bit more. Now I'm using different scissors for my threads than I do for my paper. So I learned that if you sew, that it does make a difference when you use paper or scissors for paper versus cloth. So I have different sets, and you can see that I have them marked differently. So you can tell me in the comments, do you use different sets of scissors for your paper versus your ribbons and materials? So now the fun part begins, which for me is the embellishments. So I'm going to bring back in this Buddy's Joey stamp set, and we're going to get our little buddy stamped in, then cut out. So I have this little piece of paper here, and I'm going to bring in my cushion to stamp on, and we're going to stamp him first. I generally, unless I have several items that I'm stamping or need to create at one time, I will stamp first and then do the die cut part. For me, it's just a little bit easier to line up. Now notice I am using the archival black ink or intense black ink. That is because we are going to do a little bit of coloring with marker once we have this completely stamped and cut out. So I'm just letting that ink soak in for just a second, giving it a good pressure, and then I'm going to clean my stamp with my chamois just to get that black off of there as much as I can. And I wanted to show you, I'm also using the new chamois container. So this is what holds the chamois. And then you have a nice little lid that can clip on here. It's got holes in it so your chamois can breathe and not get moldy or musty smelling. So I really like that new product, and it's a lot of fun. So let's put that die cut on here, and you'll see what I'm talking about and how easy it is to line that right up with the image. And then we'll just tack it down to run through the die cut machine. So let's get him die cut out, and then we will work on the coloring process. Okay, I have my little buddy cut out. I also stamped him a second time on this little denim pattern paper for his jeans, and we're going to cut that out and paper piece that onto his jeans, and then I'm going to color in the rest of him. But to speed up that process so you don't have to watch me color, because I like to do a lot of blending when I color, I'm going to speed up the video for that. But first, let me show you the colors that I'm going to use for this process. I'm using the Ice Blue blend. I'm using the Fair Skin for his skin, along with the muted brown. I'm going to mix those together. And for the shirt, I'm going to use the orange blend. And then for his hair, I'm going to use the brown, gold brown shades. So those are the colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to speed up this video while I color, and you can see my process for shading and blending. Everybody has a different process for that as well. And then we'll come back and get him finished up. Okay, I've got my little buddy all colored in, and you can see that I've put on his little denim jeans by paper piecing that, and he looks just adorable. Now, one final touch I'm going to do with him, when I cut him out and prepared him, I also cut 4 extra pieces of cardstock, and I've glued them together already. So what I'm going to do now is just glue him on top of this extra cardstock piece that I have, and it's basically making him into kind of a chipboard or dimensional element without having to use foam tape. And I've been doing this technique a lot lately. I really like my pieces to be popped up a lot, so I do use a lot of foam tape on my layouts. But today I'm trying to keep it relatively simple and just kind of set him out there. Now I have some extra pieces that I want to bring in, and I've stamped a couple, and I have a couple to show you some stamping techniques on. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to tuck some of these in and around the layout, and we'll kind of see where we decide we want to take those. So let me bring in my cushion again and a few ink pads. So I'm going to start with the star first, and I'm going to do the star in the nectarine and the lemonade. So we'll get these over here to the side. And what I found with the star is there is a true lineup. You wouldn't think that it would matter, but with this die cut, it actually does. So I'm going to make sure I have the right alignment first, which I'm just going to double check here. It looks like I did, but I want to be certain. So I think that was right where I had it. Yeah, it's still a little off. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. So I'm sure many of you have seen this technique before, but it's kind of an ombre. So I'm going to put it in my lightest color first here at the bottom. And then I'm going to put it in the darker color, which is the nectarine, on top. And I want those colors to overlap a little bit. And I try not to get such a straight line before I do the stamping. And then I'm just going to line that up on my little die cut piece and stamp that down. Straight down and straight up when I do the stamping. And then I'm giving it just a little bit of pressure and some time to let that ink soak into the paper. And there we go, perfect. So I'm going to wash that one off, and then we're going to do the other one, and we're going to switch colors a little bit. So with this one, I wasn't quite sure I liked that harshness with the blue and the yellow. So I think I'm going to switch that up and maybe go to, well, let's think. I want to maybe pull in the red and the orange a little bit more. So let's give that a try and see how I like it. So here I'm going to use Candy Apple red and the nectarine. So let's start with the nectarine. And then I'm going to pull in the candy apple red and just kind of tap that around. This is giving me a little bit of dark lines, so I'm going to try and smooth some of that out with my finger. And I'm going to come back in with the orange. All right, let's see how that looks. Oh, I do like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so we'll wash that off and get these out of the way. And I think now I'm going to have to decide if I really want to keep this red and blue. And I'm thinking I might not. I really like these other colors a little bit more. So I might just use these instead. I'll play around with this maybe a little bit. I'm going to put this one to the side because I'm actually not sure that I really want to use it. I'm also going to bring in that sapphire ink, and I'm going to stamp Mr. Awesome right up here at the top. So I have to stand up to make sure I get this lined up. I hope that I can do it without getting my head in the shot, so I apologize if I do. The great thing is this paper's got some lines on it, so I can hopefully just line that right up. I'm gonna move that over a little closer so it's not just standing out there by itself. Perfect. Okay, and then I also brought in a few of the acrylic letters to spell out his name. Now, this guy's name is Knox, and I thought these letters were perfect because they have kind of a playful feel to them, and they work rather well with this particular paper packet and the feel of this kit. So I'm going to put the name right here, and I'm going to play around with this spacing a little bit. It feels a little heavy up here, so I think I might move this maybe down here a little bit more to offset that. So let's get that glued down, and we'll see what other embellishments we want to add to the page. Okay, I went ahead and finished all the embellishing off camera. What I did was I added some enamel gems that I had in my stash, and I wanted to show you, because one of the things I really like about this picture and about Knox is his cute little blue glasses, and I wasn't able to emulate that on my little buddy stamp, but I found these sunglasses that are the same color of blue in one of my embellishment packets for the summer paper packet. And even though they're sunglasses, I went ahead and added them because they match perfectly, and I thought they were a cute addition to the page. So I got all my tags up here, and I have my Mr. Awesome. I did decide to leave off that extra star in trying to keep the layout as simple as possible. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If so, please remember to hit that thumbs up, like button, and the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. That will let YouTube know that you do like my videos and would like to see more of them. I appreciate the support that you're giving me, and thank you so much for watching my video today, and we'll be back soon with another one. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.